Hello and welcome to another episode of Ricoh 101, an after hours session again. This isn't part of the video tutorials, it's just a little out of band information piece. I've done one before on the firmware updates that arrived earlier this month, and now we've got to talk about those updates again because apparently Ricoh have dropped the ball with firmware updates 1.80 and 1.30 for the Ricoh GR3X and the GR3, and they have discovered a conflict in a new memory setting. Now, just to get things clear, this isn't a catastrophe. Ricoh have withdrawn the firmware updates from their homepage, and they will be released at a later date with fixes, so you can expect something like a 1.81 or a 1.31 that include the new features and fix the problem. But what is the problem and what are a couple of workarounds? So let's take a look at that now. I did update. I have firmware version 1.80 on the Ricoh GR3 here. So let's just take a look. If we go into the Ricoh main menu, on page 2 we have the touch AF settings somewhere, and then below that we have this new feature called memory setting that was shipped with firmware version 1.80 and 1.30 for the GR3X and the GR3 series of cameras. Now what this one does is, if you go in there, if you have a check mark in any of these settings, it will remember changes you make during camera operation. And let's say, for example, I change my snap distance priority. That's set there with a check mark in it. If I change my snap distance priority, or I change my drive mode, one of these things, then the check mark means that when I power down the camera and then power it back on, the previous setting will be remembered. So changes I make on the fly while shooting will be remembered if there is a check mark in this setting. Okay. Now, if there is not a check mark in this setting, then it will be reset to default. I demonstrated that with the crop mode there. So if I change to a 35 or a 50mm crop on the Ricoh GR3, and that check mark is set there, when I power down the camera and power it back on, 35mm will still be selected if that was what I had. If I remove that check mark, then the crop mode will be reset to its default setting, which is off, just completely off, and the camera will use all 24 megapixels and will continue to shoot in the 28mm equivalent mode. Okay, so that's how that works. But the conflict comes with this piece here. We have the user 1, user 2 and user 3 settings, and also in the custom menu, if we go to the first page of the custom menu, we have save settings. Now when you press save settings, you can make a hell of a lot of changes to the whole camera, set up different shooting profiles, JPEG profiles, crop modes, drive mode, even switching from aperture priority to shutter speed priority and things like that. And you can save those in one of these boxes. Okay, now when you save those in a box, they are remembered in memory, and then you can go and assign one of these modes that you've saved in box 1 to 6, and you can assign 3 of those to one of these positions on the dial, user 1, 2 and 3. Now you will find that if you go into the new memory feature and remove a check mark, so it won't remember something like crop mode, and you have assigned crop mode to one of these positions, what they are telling you is that when you then change, hold your button down here, rotate the wheel, when you then change to user 1, if you're expecting a 35 or 50mm crop on the Ricoh GR3 and you have elected to not set a check mark in the crop, then it will disable crop mode even in this setting that you saved previously for for example, 35mm shooting. So that's where the conflict lies. Settings that you expect to be changed on these and in the 3 box positions will be affected by changes you make in the new memory feature. Now, Ricoh are going to address this, don't worry. I'm sure they'll come out with a fix pretty quick, but it's not a big issue. So the memory feature doesn't affect me at all because I just don't use user 1, 2 and 3 anymore. Should I decide to do it, then the workaround will be just go into the custom menu and find that memory setting, and until they release a fix, just don't use these settings. It's as simple as that. Make sure you leave a check mark in all of these boxes and you're good to go, and the bug will not affect you or your camera. Optionally, if you just like to stay on one of these manual modes, shutter speed priority or aperture priority, then just don't use these and you won't be affected either. So it's not a disaster. Ricoh will fix it. That's it for now. So I'll see you in another one. We've got manual shooting coming up soon, and shutter speed priority as well. And then we're going to start getting creative with the camera after we've looked at all the technical details and setup that we've been looking at in the previous 9 or 10 videos. So have a great weekend. See you soon.